Hello, viewers. This is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Commentary series, and it looks like we've got Bant Aggro versus Blue-White Spirits. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of Blue-White Spirits, but the, the basic idea is the same as any weenie deck. It's just with spirits, you typically get flying on top of it being a weenie creature. The only problem is he's facing off against Bant Aggro, and Bant Aggro is just dominant. And of course, Essence Flux. So blink a creature, and if it's a spirit, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And this one comes into play tapping an opponent's creature. So nice little trick. He'll be able to tap down the 5/5 and get a 2/2 flyer for the trouble. But like I was saying, Bant Aggro typically has creatures that are just so much more powerful than the Spirits deck. So the Spirits have to use tricks like Essence Flux to try and slow him down. Oh, Dramoka's command in response. So the werewolf is going to punch the Topplegeist. Oh, Rattlechain's in response. There we go. Give it hexproof so Dramoka's command won't kill it, so Essence Flux will resolve. The Butcher still becomes a 6/6, but now he'll be tapped. And yeah, I was thinking he could attack in with the 3/3 because the Spirit deck would have to double block if you wanted to kill him. But at the same time, he's at 16, so most likely that 3 damage is going to go through anyway. And then the return swing from spirits is they're all flying, and that is one problem for Bant Aggro is they don't have reach or flying typically. So these flyers are just going to get in for free. So spirits attacks all in for a total of 5 damage, knocking Bant down to 12. But he didn't play any spells. So the Butcher stays a werewolf. Oh, that's right. Rattlechains gives all spirits flash. So now his spirits are combat tricks. Topplegast or Geist, excuse me, becomes an instant emergency blocker on top of, oh, I'm going to tap your biggest creature for this combat. So, and then on top of that, he still has mana open. So if he felt like it, he could, play another Essence Flux. For example, if he had another big attack or big creature to attack with, he could flash in a Topplegeist, Essence Flux the Topplegeist. But this time he's going in with the 3/3 Thalia's Lieutenant. He might as well. Alright, so Spirits is down to 13. And end of turn, Erdwall Illuminator. Each time, or whenever you investigate for the first time each turn, investigate an additional time. Well, so far we haven't seen anything that lets him investigate, so not really that helpful, but it is another 1/3 flyer. And I imagine he's going to go. Oh, he's saving the 1/1 Topplegeist. But he's still getting through for 2, 4, 6 damage. So that's half of Bant's remaining life total. So he's going to have to do something pretty drastic here soon, and hope that Spirits doesn't have a response. Ah, didn't read his opponent's cards. I've done that before. Just get, it's a good tip for any player to just remember, read your opponent's cards. That way you know what's going on. And the 6 damage goes through. Trying to think. There's not really a whole lot that's going to help Bant Aggro here. Another Dramoka's command would be good, provided Spirits doesn't have, like another Rattle Chains or Essence Flux. Okay, all in attack. It's too late to blink the Topplegeist to tap a creature. So he flashes in Spectral Shepherd, which is a 2/2 flyer, and pay a blue and a colorless, or sorry, generic. Return target spirit you control to its owner's hand. But he doesn't have the 2 mana, so he can't block and then bounce it back to his hand to keep it alive. Or, you know what I mean. So Bant gets through for 4, takes spirits down to 9, and unless Bant has something pretty amazing in his hand, he's dead. And I was about to say, don't risk it. He should have attacked all in, just in case. Because if Bant can kill one of these creatures, well, one of the 2-power creatures, he'll be alive at 1. And no response. So Bant Aggro lost. I'm wondering what the 2 cards were in his hand. But, it doesn't really matter now. I guess we're going to game 2. Okay, turn 1 Topplegeist from Spirits. You know, I don't know what his hand is set up like, so, losing the tap down ability for, well, one event of it isn't really that big a deal considering it's a weenie deck and he needs as many creatures in play as possible. And a 1/1 flyer against a deck that has a serious lack of ability to deal with flyers is, really good. Typically a 1/1 flyer, even with the ability to tap down a creature, really isn't that great. But when you're against a deck that can't really deal with it very well, it's amazing. So anticipate from Spirits after Bant threw down Duskwatch Recruiter. And Topplegeist attacks in for 1. And if he can kill Spirit's creatures while he's tapped out, he probably can win this game. The problem is that he would have had to side in some extra kill cards. I mean, you typically see Dromoka's Command and Declaration in Stone main deck. Probably not 4 copies of each, you know, but in the sideboard, he could have Silk Wraps or Stasis Snare or the extra copies of Dromoka's Command and Declaration in Stone. Erdwile Illuminator. Again, going in for 1. And the Illuminator does have 3 toughness, so it can block the Duskwatch Recruiters without dying. So he can minimize some of Bant Aggro's damage while still maintaining his own board state. Or even better, if he has Essence Flux, he could blink it and turn it into a 2/4, block and kill one of the Duskwatch Recruiters. But he chooses not to block at all, takes 4 damage, Bant doesn't play anything, so both of his guys are going to flip over to werewolves. Now, I know I talked a lot about the deficiencies of Bant Aggro in dealing with flyers, but on the flip side, Spirits, unless he has his cards to deal with creatures, Bant's creatures are always bigger than the Spirits. So in a straight race, Bant is always going to win. It's just a matter of either side being able to deal with the other's creatures. Alright, Tireless Tracker. Spirits does have 6 cards in his hand, so he probably has a Rattle Chains waiting to be flashed in. Essence Flux on Topplegeist. So now it's a 2-2, and he can tap down one of the werewolves. But it doesn't stop the other werewolf, which is a 3-3, so it's probably going to go straight through. Okay, flashes in Rattle Chains. That's not going to stop the werewolf, unless he's going to double block. Nope, he takes the 3 damage, which is smart for him because getting 2 for 1 to get rid of, 1-3-3 is really not something he can do very often. That's more of an emergency situation. Because, like I said earlier, it's just a weenie deck. And weenies need their creatures, otherwise they lose. Always Watching. Now there is a powerhouse card for this deck. Now all of his flyers are powered up. That's a total of 8 damage flying that Bant can't do anything about. And they have Vigilance, so now they're up for blocking. And the Illuminator has 4 toughness, so he can block either of these guys for free and kill them. Topplegeist is in the same situation pretty much, though, the possibility of a Dromoka's command could easily kill it off. Same with Rattle Chains. But if he Dromoka's commands, he can put the counter on Tireless Tracker, kill off one of these 3 power creatures. But then again, he still can't really make any inroads because it will have taken 3 damage and it will instantly be blocked and killed. Thalia's Lieutenant. There we go. +1/+1 counters all around. That should make things much more interesting for combat. And Spirits is tapped out. He can't respond. No Essence Flux. No other Rattle Chain. And Dromoka's command from Bant while he's tapped out. Perfect timing. Take out the Rattle Chains. Pump him up to a 6-5. And honestly, I think I would attack all in. Because that's potentially lethal. It's enough power to kill him if he doesn't block. And to kill off Tireless Tracker, he has to block with the Topplegeist now that Always Watching is dead. Oh, he didn't put the +1/+1 counter on. That's what it was. Oh, Spirits concedes before he can see who all he was attacking with. But yeah, 4 cards in hand, probably didn't have what he would need to overcome Bant at that stage because Bant was on a roll. But it's an interesting matchup. Spirits can win even against a deck like Bant Aggro. It just you have to get out in front of it and stay out in front of it. But this video has gone on for long enough. I'm going to end it here. That was Bant Aggro versus Blue-White Spirits. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.